Alright, in the last video we talked about 4.1, which was solving system of equations by graphing when the equations were in slope-intercept form. Today we're going to focus on 4.2, which is graphing again, but your equations will both be in standard form this time, so you'll need to graph using cover-up method. So we're going to go ahead and skip ahead through your notes. Just to review, system of linear equations is a set of two or more equations containing two or more variables. In Algebra 1, we do two equations with two variables. That's it. A solution is the point where they cross, the lines cross, so your answer should always be an ordered pair. Okay. Special cases here, remember we have three cases. We have exactly one solution, tell me the point where they cross. If it's the same line twice, it ends up being infinitely many solutions, or infinite solutions. And if they're parallel, they never cross, so you have no solution. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to 4.2. Okay, so example 3 in your packet tells you to solve the system of equations by graphing. We have x minus 4y equals 4 and x minus y equals negative 2. We are going to follow the same steps we did yesterday. The only difference is we are going to use cover-up method. And let me get a shape here. Use cover-up method instead of y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to start by covering up my y to find my x. I'm just going to fill this in here. Okay. So if I cover up my y for the first line, I am left with x equals 4. So I can graph that on my x-axis. If I move that over and cover up my x, I am left with 4y, or negative 4y, equals 4. Now I can't graph until I get that y alone, so I'm going to divide by negative 4, so I get y equals negative 1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plot that. Now I'm going to go ahead and graph that line. Make sure it's nice and straight. You need to use a ruler or your ID to do that. Okay, if it's not nice and straight, it could affect your answer. And there's my first line. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to change the color here so it matches my work. Put some arrows at the end. And there's our first line. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the second line. I'm going to cover up my y. And I am left with x equals negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that. Negative 2 for my x. Okay. I'm going to then move that over, cover up my x. I am left with a negative y equals negative 2. Now a lot of students will forget that negative in front of the y and it will affect their answer, so make sure you watch those signs especially. We need to divide by negative 1 on both sides to get a positive 2. Okay, now, have 2 points. Let's draw a nice straight line through those 2 points. Okay, I'm going to change that. The lines are off just a little bit. Close enough. So we're going to go ahead and change this, make it red, put some arrows at the end, and go from there. Okay, so remember our goal, once we graph these, is to actually find the point where they intersect. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shift this a little bit because it's not lined up very well. Let's make this go this way a little bit, and this go this way. And then this one's not lined up very well, so we're going to fix that a little bit. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Like I said, it's really important that your lines are nice and straight, so they line up really well to find your solution. So notice my green point is where they cross. So my solution is going to be negative 4, negative 2. Okay, just matching up with that green point. Go ahead and try these 2 problems. Have them checked when you are finished, and then you can receive your homework. There's a quiz on Canvas that you will need to pass after you do your homework to move on to the next video. Have a great day.